In today's video, I'm going to share with you guys how I almost set myself up for failure in my first real estate investment deal by making these common critical mistakes. Mistake number one, designated agency. Designated agency, not to be confused with dual agency. Dual agency is actually a scenario where the agent is the same for both buyer and seller, which is actually illegal in a few different states. Designated agency is an arrangement where both buyer and seller has an agent within the same brokerage. In this scenario, the real estate firm gets paid double commission. Designated agency strips consumers of representation where the brokerage firm is financially rewarded for manipulating their advice to produce a sale. In my example, my realtor was part of the same brokerage firm as the seller's agent. At the time, we didn't realize that was a huge mistake. We thought it was an advantageous relationship where we could get more in-depth information about the home even quicker. One red flag that caught my attention was the night that we went under contract and settled on a sale price. That same night, my agent and also the seller's agent posted a Facebook photo of them at a very expensive dinner celebrating going under contract, which made me believe that my agent and the seller's agent were closer friends than I originally thought, and maybe my realtor didn't have my best interests in mind. Mistake number two, choosing a home inspector that your realtor suggests. Now, depending on your situation, the home inspector that your realtor suggests may actually be a really good home inspector, but make sure you do your research because results may vary. So I actually went with the home inspector that my realtor suggested because he had an open schedule on the weekend, which would allow me to drive up to Bentonville and actually be there for the home inspection. But come to find out, the realtor and the home inspector were actually really good friends, and he may have played down some of the home's problems to prevent my realtor from losing a sale and commission. In my last video right here where we actually toured the house, I noticed very significant floor sloping. Now, when I asked the home inspector about the sloped floors in the kitchen and the dining room, he played it off as it being an old house. He basically just said, you know, the house was built in the 1940s, it's gonna have sloped floors, all old homes do. No big deal. So when we first initially walked through the house, I had my realtor contact the listing agent to ask him if the seller ever had a foundation company come out and inspect the floors, which he said they did 2 years ago.
Lie detector test determined that was a lie.
He gave me the foundation company and also how much they were quoted for, which was about $2,000 to $3,000, and they said it'd be a very easy fix. So I started doing my own research after the home inspection and contacted the foundation company, which they had zero records of even coming out and inspecting the home. We had about a week at that point to give the sellers a request of repairs. So I contacted a general contractor that had a lot of experience remodeling and fixing up old historic homes. He was scheduled to come out on a Friday morning, which this is a Wednesday morning. I contacted my realtor on Wednesday and she said everything would be okay. She'll be there on Friday to open up the house so we could get a quote on the floors. Friday morning, an hour before the general contractor actually showed up to the house, I got a text message from my realtor saying that he could not show up, that the seller and the listing agent both said that they did not want general contractors parading through the house before we agreed on repair price. And I said at that point, how am I supposed to come up with a repair cost if I cannot get a quote from a professional to give you guys an accurate number? And they went back and forth for a little bit, but we actually got the general contractor to actually show up and give me a quote, which his quote came back at a total of $17,500. In his report, he noted significant floor sloping where he measured a 2-inch drop within a 6-foot span, which is pretty significant. I contacted my lender, which he was not even aware that the house had any foundation issues. After reading the home inspection, he thought the house was great and good to go. Then that's when I realized why the listing agent put up such a fight to not allow a general contractor to come through the house and give us a quote. At this point, after being misled by both real estate agents, I had a bad taste left in my mouth. And to be honest, I didn't want either of the real estate agents getting any of my money through commission. So after rerunning my numbers, I countered offered and said I wanted the $17,500 that was quoted for repairs put towards closing costs, a new sale price of $700,000 from the original $785,000. Which at this point I was not emotionally attached to the house and I didn't care if I lost it or not. Long story short, they denied and we terminated the contract. I felt as if I dodged a bullet and a big money pit. I learned a valuable lesson at the expense of the home inspection cost. What I learned is that some of the best real estate deals you can make are actually the ones that you walk away from. So after all that being said, after this experience, it did not deter me away from buying my first real estate investment property because I'm actually under contract for another home, which I will release more information in future videos. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned from my mistakes so you don't make the same mistakes as I did. If it did, go ahead and like the video, subscribe for more, and we will see you guys in the next one.